I'm Sarah Lavonne and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already seen part 1 of the natural labor induction series, then go ahead and pause this video and watch that one first because this video definitely builds off of the first one. Keep in mind that I do have live online childbirth classes that are open for registration. You can sign up at bundlebirth.com. The link is also down below. Today, I'm gonna give you some ways that may help to stimulate labor and contractions. Let's get started. Glowy sunny. So I know everybody's dying to know if there are ways that you can help to stimulate labor contractions. Short answer is, based on the last video, yes, if your body's ready, then there may be things that can help you. What are they? First of all, before I get started and give you any kind of recommendations of things to do, a couple of things to keep in mind. Safety first. Nobody is the same across the board, and so you really do need to be talking to your doctor or your midwife, whoever's been taking care of you during your pregnancy, before you start doing any of these things. I would hate for any of them to cause any kind of complications. In general, most of them are very safe, but you definitely want to check in with your provider and make sure that they're okay with it. Everybody's on board, so everybody knows what's going on and what you've been doing at home to help stimulate labor. The other thing is that if you are not 37 weeks and beyond, please don't be doing any of these things, okay? There's no reason to have a preterm birth. Now, what I will say is that if your body's not ready, then it may not help anyway. No use risking it. Overall, your doctor or midwife is going to trump anything that I say. If they tell you not to do something, I am not telling you to do it. But if they're cool with it, then here are some suggestions. The first recommendation that I would say is actually probably one of the more effective ways to maybe stimulate contractions if your body's ready is nipple stimulation. When your nipples are stimulated, this is yes, like stimulated, like touched, but also it works better if you're like stimulated and you like it, like it feels good. Like you're like, ooh, that feels kind of nice. So your partner may be able to help with this. You can also use a breast pump. So people will put their breast pump on one breast or stimulate one breast for about 5 minutes every, 15, 20 minutes or so. Really the point behind nipple stimulation is that it potentially causes oxytocin release. So oxytocin is released, especially when you breastfeed. So that's where the breast pump comes in, that you're basically like stimulating the feeling or the sensation of breastfeeding, which can help release oxytocin. We know oxytocin causes contractions, so if your body's ready, it can cause some contractions. The way that you want to be careful with this is that if you do start feeling contractions, to stop stimulating your nipples, okay? You've had that little oxytocin release, enjoy the sensation while you can, and then wait for those contractions to stop. If they continue, sometimes literally that nipple stimulation or any of the things that I'm talking about are that little like slap on the booty to either keep your labor going or to help stimulate your labor or naturally induce your labor. But you can also like rub your nipples raw and it do nothing. So, try it. There's different like protocols online that you can look up, or like you rub your nipples for 5 minutes every 15 minutes for 2 hours or whatever. Another recommendation that you hear a lot is sex. I think about the Friends episode where Rachel and Ross like have a ton of sex to try to get her into labor, which now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if it was actually effective or not. I don't think it was. People will say have tons of sex once you're term, so past 37 weeks, and that can help to stimulate labor. Now, this is kind of a twofold thing. So one, there's the orgasm side. So when you have orgasms, which you don't have to have sex to have an orgasm, just keep that in mind. But if you have an orgasm, that is a big release of oxytocin and sometimes can cause some cramping, and either those cramps continue, kind of burst you into labor, push you into labor, or you contract maybe a little bit and it goes away, or you don't contract at all. Okay, either way, you had an orgasm, so congratulations. The other side is that if you were to have sex, there's actually prostaglandin in semen. Prostaglandin is a hormone that we actually use in the hospital setting in medication form. We put it inside your vagina and then it like helps to soften and ripen the cervix. So you, in theory, have a ton of sex, which actually you have to have like 1/4 of a cup of semen, which is like a whole lot of sex, okay? So you you can have a lot of sex and have the semen part for the prostaglandin side, and you couple that with the orgasm side, and you have some oxytocin and some prostaglandin, and there's your natural induction. That's pretty much what we use in the hospital. Now, how effective it is, meh. I've had lots of clients that are like, we are having so much sex, I'm so over this, and she's still not in labor. And I've seen other clients that like, yeah, we had a lot of sex today and here we are in labor. One of the questions to be asking your doctor or midwife when you're in kind of your final appointments, your weekly appointments, is can we still be having sex? If they don't tell you not to, then feel free. Have just a whole lot of sex and enjoy yourself. Something that I recommend to all of my doula clients come 37 weeks is to start eating about 6 dates a day. Yes, dates. There's actually some clinical studies that show that if you eat dates every day consistently towards the end of your pregnancy, that can help to soften and ripen the cervix. Are dates going to get you into labor? No, they're probably not. Another question that usually comes up in my childbirth classes and that I get asked all the time is, what is membrane sweeping? So one of the other things that your doctor or midwife can do in the office when you're in your prenatal visits is to do a vaginal exam and strip your membranes. So your cervix is here, and then you have the membrane or like the water bag surrounding the baby. The uterus comes out around. Now, the water bag and the uterus are kind of stuck together, and they're not like adhered, like really glued together, but they're just sticky with each other because they've like grown together as one unit until now. So what your provider would do when they do a membrane sweep is they would do a vaginal exam, take their 2 fingers, they go inside the cervix. It's usually not that dilated. They would reach around the cervix and they would rub their finger and separate right here where the membrane is and the uterus is. So what it does is it kind of irritates, sorry child, irritates the uterus where your body's like, whoa, what the heck? What is this thing? And then maybe starts contracting. It also is a little bit of a cervical massage. So you're rubbing the cervix and that releases natural hormone that can help jumpstart labor, that can help soften the cervix, may help dilate it a little bit. A lot of times after they strip your membranes, you may find that you have some vaginal bleeding. Maybe you see a little bit of that mucus come out with some bleeding in it. And then you can, God, thanks so much, Britt. I always say, like, if they're gonna strip your membranes, like throw like a pad in your panties or something because you'll probably bleed a little bit. They normally won't do this until your term. So you're probably around 38, maybe 39, maybe 40 weeks. The evidence is pretty good that it does help avoid induction and it does help you not to hit 42 weeks of pregnancy, which 2 weeks after your due date is like a really long time, and it feels even longer the more pregnant that you get. Does stripping your membranes hurt? Probably a little more than a vaginal exam. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. So basically like a vaginal exam, they go inside and then they just feel your cervix. By the way, they would never have nails this long. I'm not checking cervixes right now, so don't be worried. For a membrane sweep, they're gonna be in there and like kind of rubbing and pulling a little bit longer. People like, it's good labor practice. Focus on your breath. Try to relax your booty down, relax your pelvis. Don't tense up. That'll make it more painful. It's maybe a minute tops. I always tell my clients, stick it out because it really can help you a lot to help kind of brew labor. I've had clients that their doctor stripped their membranes during their appointment that day, and sure enough, they show up at the hospital that night. And I've also had clients that, yeah, my doctor stripped my membranes and I bled and yeah, I'm contracting a little bit, and they don't deliver for like another week. Personally, I'm giving my opinion. I would say that membrane stripping is very effective in helping to soften the cervix, helping to get you ready. It's not an induction method. That's another thing that like, aren't I being induced because I had my membrane stripped? No, because there's no guarantee that it's going to do anything. This is done in the office. You're sent home. It's super safe. Really, the risks are that they could pop your water bag. If your water bag breaks while they're doing this, then your water bag likely was like ready to pop right then and there. If it's not ready to pop, like you can touch it all you want and it's not going to break. Okay? Sometimes your doctor will do this week after week. So maybe they'll start at 38 weeks and then do it again at 39 weeks and then at 40 weeks and then eventually go into labor. The more open you are and the more soft you are when you actually go into labor, typically flex and flow, the shorter your labor is. Some other things that you'll read about are evening primrose oil. So you can take this, and really the theory behind it is that there's prostaglandin in it. Again, your 2 main labor hormones are prostaglandin to ripen and soften the cervix, and then oxytocin to cause contractions. So anything in theory that either has those hormones or stimulates those hormones could jumpstart you into labor. The other ones are acupressure and acupuncture. So there's certain pressure points, particularly kind of on the ankles and feet, that can help to cause contractions. That's also why when you're pregnant and you get a prenatal massage, that you need to get a prenatal massage versus get like a regular person massage, because there are those pressure points that could stimulate things that you don't want to stimulate until it's time to stimulate them. The other one that you hear about is castor oil. So I have also seen clients who have taken castor oil and they show up in like full-blown rip-roaring labor, and then other ones who take castor oil and just have a whole lot of diarrhea. Castor oil is a laxative, so you would take it and then it causes intestinal cramping, and those intestines, because they're all smushed out of the way and really close to your uterus, that because of all of that stimulation, that it stimulates the uterus as well, which can cause contraction. Again, if your body's ready, then it may actually jumpstart you into labor, but otherwise expect with castor oil to just be going poop a lot. Oily diarrhea is what you get from castor oil. Castor oil used to be a lot more popular. It's a little bit more popular with the midwives than it is with the OBGYNs. Probably less recommended than some of the other things. And if you're gonna ingest anything or put anything into your body, make sure you're checking with your doctor on that one. I would say probably the most effective things are going to be sex, nipple stimulation, eating dates, and membrane sweeping to help stimulate labor if your body's ready. If it's truly labor, there should be no question about it at all. If some of these things start causing contractions and then you maybe start walking or you do something else to help stimulate them and then they start petering out and they go away, then honestly, don't wear yourself out by walking like hours out of the day or trying to keep them going, because it likely isn't labor. When it stimulates labor and when it really is labor, there's a consistent pattern and there's this like progression forward. There shouldn't be a progression backwards. Thank you everyone for being with me here today. I'm Sarah Lavonne, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment below. Until next time, don't forget to flex and flow, and I will see you later. Bye. Oh Lord. Okay. You know, one of my favorite ways is to stimulate your nipples. Side of things of like, ooh, I like my life. Yes. At the bottom, can you see this? Imagine that the uterus is surrounding this part. This is not gonna work. If your cervix, oh my God. And they're going to, can I get a hand? Okay, so imagine, perfect. Membrane part is, maybe we should do it on, and they're gonna loop their fingers, maybe give me like two, like a 2-finger cervix. Like, there, sure. Okay, that's too open. Maybe let's try this. Okay, get it on. Your membranes swept, strip your membranes, and it's not gonna blow. And it's not gonna explode. Not explode! Really oily, strong they are. Nipple stimulation. So get in there and rub those nipples. How fast can you move your eyebrows? Okay, I'm done.